I've never in my life heard an original concept for a comic book like Tom King saying that he wants to deconstruct Wonder Woman. His very existence is in opposition to the idea that writers shouldn't be paid more. This guy is a genius, and now he's bringing his genius to Wonder Woman. So, Tom King is writing Wonder Woman, and he says that Wonder Woman, and he brings up the normal cliche of a lot of comic book writers and their inability to consider a hero as someone heroic and aspirational. He says that Wonder Woman is too perfect. So let's get into this article by CBR. Writer Tom King explained the intricate layers of Wonder Woman's character before the launch of his new Dawn of DC run. Anyways, the anticipation surrounding Wonder Woman's upcoming series, penned by King with art by Daniel Sampere, I probably pronounced that wrong, has captured the attention of eager fans seeking a fresh perspective on the beloved character. In an interview with Popverse, King shared the challenges he faced while crafting a narrative that not only highlights the character's godhood, but also her humanity, bringing out her inner conflicts. Now, I have not seen this anticipation of King's Wonder Woman series. Uh, I mean, if you follow comic book news and have read DC Comics in recent years, you know the backlash that he received for his Batman run. And consider the fact that his Batman run was the best case scenario, meaning, as unwelcome as his writing was to Batman, that scenario, that end of the spectrum, was the best case scenario. Now he's going to the more, let's say, morally good characters. Not that Batman's not good, but he's kind of dark. You know, he's more fitting to the deconstruction that Tom King usually applies to his characters. But now he's writing Wonder Woman, and God forbid, at some point he writes Superman, because, you know, we all need another Superman deconstruction. Like, we haven't gotten a million of those before. I just watched the Injustice film on HBO Max, and that was terrible. But getting back to the article, King addressed the challenge of developing a character who has been deemed perfect and how it makes it hard for the readers to find her relatable. He stated, "None of us are perfect, and it's hard to have empathy with someone like that," expressing his desire to portray Wonder Woman with her own set of flaws and challenges. He cited Chris Claremont's X-Men, where each character possessed unique flaws. Okay, so first off, he uses the familiar and all too often used cop-out of Wonder Woman is too perfect, she's not relatable. This is something you often see with writers who are picked to write Superman. They say he's too perfect. He's a god. He's indestructible. He's immortal. He's too boring, because what can you do with him? He's too good. He's too much of a Boy Scout, and he can't really face, there aren't really many physical threats for him out there. That's a whole bunch of bullshit. You can write interesting Superman stories. Many writers have written interesting Superman stories. The problem isn't Superman, it's the writer. It's the writers who are unable, or perhaps just unwilling, to put in the effort and consider a perspective outside of their own. To consider that a hero is someone who is capable of more than the writer themselves are. That a hero is capable of being aspirational, that they're capable of doing good and not breaking. Because that's what Superman is. Yes, he's godlike, but he's also the most morally good character in DC. He does what's right no matter what. He doesn't break, or he's not supposed to, at least. Like I mentioned, we've seen many deconstructions of his character, because every writer just wants to come along and say, well, Superman in real life wouldn't really be that perfect. You know, there's no such thing as good and evil. There's just many shades of gray. And that goes against the history of the concept of heroism, especially in comic books, and especially with characters like Superman and Wonder Woman. Sure, Wonder Woman is a warrior first and a hero second, but she typically does the right thing for the sake of doing the right thing. You know, we don't need fat heroes or disabled heroes or whatever to be inspired. The point of being inspired by heroes is not that they're just like us. You don't need someone who is living in the same exact scenario as you to inspire you. You can be inspired by anyone or anything. The point is their character. Is Superman's character something that inspires people? Yes. We don't need him to be human. We don't need him to be someone who is struggling to pay the rent or struggling to be treated with fairness in the workplace or something. You know, the same with Captain America from Marvel Comics. He doesn't inspire because he's patriotic or because he's got a super soldier serum. He inspires because of his character. He doesn't exist to inspire you to be a extremely patriotic and physically fit white male. Anyone can be inspired by Steve Rogers. Anyone can be inspired by Superman and Wonder Woman. Inciting Chris Claremont's X-Men is not the way that Tom King should have gone, because Chris Claremont did write a very interesting saga for the X-Men. That doesn't really apply to what Tom King is saying, though. One, Marvel writes more realistic, more drama-filled stories, whereas DC has made more, morally perfect heroes, more godlike heroes. It's not a great comparison, and I think you're equating a character who possesses flaws to deconstructing a character that has existed for close to a century now, simply because you think they're too perfect. That is not the same thing. So moving on with the article, every time she punches someone, she has failed at her job. That's not true at all. If she's punching somebody, it could be because she's protecting them. Not every enemy that the Justice League has faced is someone that you can talk to. That's such a stupid thing to say, and it demonstrates King's misunderstanding of the character. King said, suggesting a paradox within the character. She wants to live in peace. She wants us to live in peace and love, but here she is as a warrior, as a fighter. Yes, because her job is to protect the innocents. You can inspire peace and love, but also understand that you need to protect people. Punching monsters and villains is not her failure. She's doing exactly what she's supposed to do. So her success is her own failure. No, it's not. The interview unveiled the hurdles King encountered with the task of writing for Wonder Woman, which is just his own incompetence, her rich history coupled with her ever-changing allies contributing to capturing her essence. He acknowledged the intricate nature of her past while expressing enthusiasm for embracing the challenge. All of that combined makes her difficult to write, which is why I wanted to do it. Who wants to do anything easy? But see, yes, you're doing something that's difficult for you, but instead of admitting to the challenges you face, you're simply stating beforehand that you're going to fail the fans of Wonder Woman because you inherently misunderstand the character. King also revealed that his depiction of Wonder Woman stands as a rebellious departure from the traditional superhero archetype embodied by figures like Batman and Superman. Batman enforces the status quo, he fights crime. Superman, he's a guy from Kansas who believes in the American way in some sense. Not in some sense, he does believe in the American way. Instead, she questions the system and actively seeks to reshape it. So basically, Wonder Woman from the past 20 years. This is not new what he's doing, both in the sense of deconstructing characters and writing Wonder Woman in this way. Had he just forgotten the last 20 years of comics? Has he forgotten Infinite Crisis, a story by Jeff Johns that really commented on the fact that heroes of that time were standing against the status quo, that they were acting in moral shades of gray, that they were doing sometimes somewhat dark things, like Wonder Woman killing, what's that guy's name? Maxwell Lord. Like, that was a huge thing. She's obviously not fitting the profile of the more pure-hearted hero at that time. In fact, all the heroes were a little darker during the 2000s. And once again, during the New 52 with the younger iterations of those characters. So neither in the sense of him dismantling the story of Wonder Woman and deconstructing her to make her more quote-unquote relatable, but also in the sense of having Wonder Woman stand against the status quo, is ironically staying with the status quo for the past 20 years. Again, I think he's just displaying his own ignorance. He obviously hasn't read Wonder Woman comics from the past 2 decades. So what is the foundation of his knowledge? What is he going to bring into this Wonder Woman series? And the funny part is, down here it says Tom King is well known for revitalizing the major superhero franchises in the past decade, most notably Batman, Supergirl, The Vision, Nightwing, and Mr. Miracle. So I don't know anything about this artist, Daniel, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Hopefully the backlash to this run of Wonder Woman is only directed at Tom King and not the artist. But I don't think naming Batman first in that list was good given the fan backlash to it. I've not heard good things about Supergirl. I read The Vision. It was kind of okay, but also super weird. And I've not read Nightwing or Mr. Miracle. But I mean, I don't read DC comics as often. but I know enough about Wonder Woman and about how DC heroes have been portrayed in the past 2 decades to understand that everything that Tom King has said in this article is wrong. It's ignorant. Instead of actually trying to do something different based on his knowledge and passion for the character, he's doing what he does with every character. He dismantles, he deconstructs, he makes the character like him because he can't imagine a world, he can't imagine a character that is truly good. You can't imagine that Wonder Woman can fight evil, so that she can punch monsters and villains and also believe in peace and love. And his failure to imagine that kind of character will reflect in the comic, as it did in Batman, as it probably did in all those other comics that he helmed. But let me know what your guys' opinion is on Tom King. Like, have you guys read those comics? Batman, Supergirl, Vision, Nightwing, Mr. Miracle? Let me know your opinion on those. And also, if you're a Wonder Woman fan, tell me what you think about him writing this new run for the character. As always, if you guys enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you'd hit that like and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell so you never miss out on a new video. Thanks for watching.